Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Village of Ruidoso regular meeting. I'll start out with the announcement that the mayor's medical procedure went fully successful and he's recovering just fine, and hopefully he'll be back in town shortly. But I just want to convey that happened yesterday, and he contacted me early this morning that all is good. So with that, call the meeting to order, and we will stand for a moment of silence, and I've asked Councilor Jackson to give the invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and the salute to the flag, state flag.
Let us pray. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
We thank you, Lord, for this great day, this village, those in attendance, those who live here, and those in the surrounding areas. We pray that you guide our eyes to see the truth, our ears to hear it, and our mouths to speak it. In Christ's name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Thank you. May I have a roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Good afternoon. Councilor Eby?
Here.
Councilor Letterman?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas?
Here.
Councilor Hooker?
Here.
Councilor Coughlin?
Here.
And Councilor Jackson?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem, you have a quorum.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve the agenda as presented and also allow the chair to move items for discussion as needs must.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilor Jackson?
Aye.
Councilor Letterman?
Aye.
Councilor Eby?
Aye.
Councilor Hooker?
Aye.
And Councilor Coughlin?
Aye.
And I vote aye also.
Yes, sir.
That's the difference between the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem. I get to vote and he doesn't, so. Consent regular items. Number 1, approval of governing body minutes of December 13th, 2022 regular meeting, December 21st, 2022 special meeting. Number 2, approval of request to schedule a public hearing on February 14, 2023. Request for vacation of a portion of public right-of-way, 236 Paradise Canyon Road, Lot 48 of Block 4 of the Paradise Canyon Subdivision, Second Supplement, Ruidoso, New Mexico, 88345, case number PVC 2022-484. Number 3, adoption of Resolution 2023-01, declaring reasonable notice of public meetings for the Village Council of the Village of Ruidoso. Item 4, approval of certificate of record destruction number 2023-001. Number 5, approval of amendment to the Lincoln County DWI Prevention Program sub-grant agreement with the Department of Public Safety, State of New Mexico. Number 6, adoption of Resolution 2023-02, a resolution authorizing the Village of Ruidoso to submit an application to the Department of Finance and Administration, Local Government Division, to participate in the local DWI grant and distribution program. Number 7, approval of ratification of sub-grant agreement, SGA, with Federal Emergency Management Assistance, FEMA, for project worksheets PWs 95, PW 98, PW 103, PW 111, PW 113, and PW 117 in the amount of $7,857,826.39, resulting in an increase of $3,190,988.39. Number 8, approval of task order RFP number 2022-002P-07 with Riverbend Engineering for on-call watershed engineering support and design. Proposal review in the amount not to exceed $40,000, including gross receipt tax. Number 9, approval of task order RFP 2022-002P08 with Riverbend Engineering for engineering service along the Rio Ruidoso at Water Plant Number 1 and Malone Road to Martin Road in the amount of $58,693.58, including gross receipt tax. Number 10, approval of hangar lease agreement between the Village of Ruidoso, Sierra Blanca Regional Airport and Joe Schoenig for P1 hangar beginning January 10th, 2023. I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem, I make a motion that we approve those items as read.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? None taken. Roll call, please.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Eby,
Aye.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas.
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
And Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
Next on the item is our public input. Did we have anybody sign up? Thank you. Since it's the first meeting of the year, I'd like to read the rules and guidelines for our public input of our meeting. A, presenter shall be either a resident, property owner, or business owner in the Village of Ruidoso. B, presenter shall be required to sign in prior to the start of the meeting on the public input sign-in sheet provided at the desk or the front table, and shall provide the required information: name, physical address, phone number, and topic of discussion. C, presenters will be recognized in the order listed on the input sign-in sheet as time allows, with the agenda items having priority over non-agenda items. D, presenter must state their name. E, presenter must state in 1 or 2 sentences what the presenter will be addressing before council. F, presenter must keep the comments relative to the business at hand and shall not make personal, rude, or slanderous remarks regarding any member of the public or village officers and staff, and shall not become boisterous or disruptive while addressing the council. The governing body or staff shall not comment or engage in discussion during the public input period. G, presenter shall keep the comments brief and limited to 5 minutes. And Councilor Hooker has been assigned as the timekeeper. H, timing measurements shall be used to be distributed equitably for all presenters. If any one of the above guidelines are violated, the presenter will be declared out of order and will immediately cease to continue comment. J, presenters may only be allowed to speak once. If followed-up comments need to be made, it can be done at council's discretion. So thank you for your patience on that. And who I got listed here is Andrea F. from Ruidoso.
Tap,
Can you tap that?
circle,
Just-
make it. Just hold on.
There
There it goes.
you go.
Perfect.
Good job.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yep.
Council members, staff, community. I will be talking about several things. One is the Health and Wellness Guide, Martin Luther King Day, and one of the agenda items, the first agenda item on the agenda. So to begin, I would just like to talk about Martin Luther King. His holiday is coming up. It's something that I value and I celebrate, and I hope that you all do too. And sometimes we need to take a moment just to remind ourselves why we do what we do. So Martin Luther King taught and lived in a way that highlighted how to love your enemy. His house was bombed, he was stabbed, and his people, his family, his friends, and community were mistreated and abused. And he demonstrated peace. He also showed us about noncompliance when things are out of order. He practiced ahimsa, which is a term for nonviolence and non-harming, and it's also thought of as loving kindness. And so may we continue to learn about and practice ways such as these. And I had the thought that instead of looking, in our modern culture, instead of looking for the active shooter in the room, we look for maybe someone who needs a friend. So we can change the way we look at the world and let it be beautiful. So we got our 2023 Health and Wellness Guide, and I just want to point out quickly its usefulness. We have a directory in the front that has health and wellness and recreation services. On the last page of the directory is nonprofits and civic organizations. So if people are looking to volunteer or looking to donate, we've got it all listed right here. And we're definitely appreciate updates. There's a page that has some local data, like why the #1 leading cause of death in Lincoln County. Maybe we want to know. And then in the back is an article about from a culture of waste to a culture of stewardship, how individuals, institutions, and organizations can step up. And it's about places here in Lincoln County, including the Ruidoso Community Center, that practices small things that make a difference. And so I want to honor you too for Chief Hooker or Darren Hooker and Susan Letterman for bringing your reusable cup, because it's steps like those that make a difference collectively. So thank you. And then the final thought is on the agenda regarding Lawrence Chavez bringing to you all about notices and officer complaints.
2 minutes.
And I appreciate these efforts. I think that particularly complaints should be heard by the public. We should look at that item because it affects the public. And as a public member who it affected personally, I feel like I have some input that would keep it strong. I feel like currently as it's written, it has strength. It identifies some specific things like a citizen complaint form. This citizen complaint form should be completed. It talks about different things that I would like to address. And I probably can't do it in 2 minutes, but I think it's worthwhile. And I hope that I could be invited to share during that part of the presentation, or we table it until we can get more information, because there's some strengths and some weaknesses. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Andrea. Next written down, and I apologize, I can't read the last name, but Daniel Beach?
Got my scribble. Forgive me.
Is it Beach or?
Yes, sir.
Beach, okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, folks. Thank you for your time. In and out. Oh, good Lord. Daniel Beach, I reside at 314 Heath Drive. I have no notes prepared. There's a few, I think perhaps I'm here to ask a favor of the council that you don't owe me. For just over 3 years now, we've had, I'm referring back to what you read to keep me in line on how to speak of a situation. I believe our neighborhood has been, there's one rental trailer smack dab in the middle of very nice people that I know personally, local doctors, local business folks, elderly that don't speak English. And I feel that I am the voice for this neighborhood, and have been. There's a few people in this room within law enforcement, former law enforcement, or the village hierarchy that do know about this situation. I am not here to overstep any of them. Everyone, including RPD and these people that I will not mention, have been very receptive. But I believe I'm asking anyone left that may not know about this situation to write an address down and perhaps drive past this location, take a look around at the neighborhood. I know these people personally that are dealing with this, that are directly on top of this property. The property is in shambles. I've witnessed 3.5 years of highly suspicious and unsavory activity from this particular property. I've just now been contacting RPD regularly if I feel RPD needs to be contacted. They have been very receptive. It's kind of waiting for something to happen. By me calling RPD, I've been threatened twice in the last 2 months by one individual who rents this property. The address is 310 Heath Drive. 310 Heath Drive. And I'm asking all of you, in your spare time, on your way to the grocery store, on your way anywhere, to drive past that location and see, and as I explained to Mr. Hooker, I'm not overstepping anyone that I've spoken to about this in the past. I believe if I present this to the council as a whole, as a collective, maybe somebody can come up with an idea on how to maybe make an amendment or two to the living conditions of some of these neighborhoods. Again, right on top of this situation, we have a local beloved physician who's been here several decades, just sent kids off to college. Across the street, local business owners, elderly Asian couple don't speak English. What are they going to do? Who are they going to go talk to? I'm going to be their voice. I've watched this man bully these people for 3.5 years. I'm not going to watch it anymore. And I have been threatened. Both times have been documented, although it's a he said, she said routine. Anytime something happens, I'm going straight to that place, and I'm going to let them know.
2 minutes.
Yes, sir. I'm good. That was it.
Okay.
He's had enough. He's had enough. But I can go. I can ramble on and give you, I would need a full half of a day. I would need 4 full hours to tell you folks everything that I've witnessed in 3.5 years. And for you to listen to me for 4 hours, I would buy everybody lunch. But I don't think you have to go that way. All I'm asking you is to save this neighborhood from the continuous intentional ignorance from what I've seen. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank
for your
you,
time.
Mr. Reese.
Good day. Good to see you all.
Thank you. Now moving on to the mayoral reports and presentations, and in this case, Mayor Pro Tem's reports and presentations. I will start out with the introduction of the new employees, which we have one here, Dan Hurd, who's a park maintenance worker. Is Dan here? All right, stand up there, Dan. Welcome aboard. Can you share a few words of where you're from, how you got here?
I grew up in the Panhandle of Texas, up close to Lubbock. Came up here all the time growing up. I have family here that lives out by Bonita Lake and in Alto. Hunted all over up here, skied. I wound up in South Texas. I've been there for the last 28 years and decided to retire from the job that I've been at for 24 years. And this is where we wanted to land, so I'm just thankful for the opportunity to be employed with the village.
Well, welcome aboard, Dan. Appreciate you coming. Now, we have a couple of promotions to announce. Moving up to the water billing supervisor is Helene Anderson. Is she here?
Oh, yay.
Hey, Lynn. Sorry. Hey, Lynn. And I'm sorry, I forgot what position you were in before being promoted.
I was a staff accountant in the finance
Okay, that's right. Staff accountant. Well, welcome aboard. Where did you work for before you became staff accountant?
I worked at the library for a little bit, and then before that, I was the information specialist for the EMU Redosa.
Okay, well, great. Well, congratulations to you. And next, we have Yvonne Bartz, who has been promoted to the deputy clerk. Who I'm also have the privilege of swearing her in as deputy clerk, if I can find my script. Now I understand where the mayor throws stuff at me, and maybe come on up there for Yvonne. Excuse me.
Good. She's organized. She's already got it.
If I could read it. Okay, Yvonne, do you swear to do the job? You do?
Yes,
To the best of your ability?
best of my ability.
Okay, good. Even when us counselors give you
Don't look
loud
at me.
voices?
Tim.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
Worse
geez.
than it is now.
Okay.
Take the
Thank you,
fifth.
Yvonne. I'm really excited for this.
Thank
Raise
you.
your right hand. I, and state your name.
I, Yvonne Bartz,
Having been sworn into the office of deputy clerk for the village of Ruidoso,
having been sworn into the office of deputy clerk for the village of Ruidoso,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the state of New Mexico,
the Constitution and laws of the state of New Mexico,
the code of the village of Ruidoso,
the code of the village of Ruidoso,
and faithfully and impartially
and faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of said position
discharge the duties of said position
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Yay.
Amen.
All my years up here, that's the first time I've ever done that, so I'm excited. I feel I was promoted, huh? Go. Okay, moving on. We have the presentation of the employee and the department of the Village of Ruidoso for the last quarter. And we will start with the employee, who is Myrna Polendo.
Yay.
Come on up, Myrna. Now, Myrna is the Community Development Administrative Assistant. Myrna was selected as the employee of the quarter for the fourth quarter of 2022 because of her excellent customer service skills and positive attitude. Whether she is working in her department or at the front counter, she does a wonderful job serving the public and answering their questions. Myrna always has a smile on her face and is always willing to assist anyone when needed. A recent visitor that came to Village Hall told us that Myrna is a ray of sunshine. Myrna is a great asset to the Village of Ruidoso.
Yay.
Congratulations, Myrna. There you go. Go ahead and shake everybody's hand.
Congratulations.
Do I go this way or the other way?
Go both ways there.
Congratulations.
Now, for the Department of the Quarter, it goes to the Water Distribution Department.
Yay.
And so definitely should receive this award. The Water Distribution Department has been voted Department of the Quarter for the fourth quarter of 2022. This department works incredibly hard on village projects, repairing water line breaks and also assisting with snow removal. These employees are called out all hours of the night after working their regular shift to complete repairs. This department has been short-staffed for quite some time now, but they all come together as a team and get the job done day and night. Thanks to each and every one of you for everything that you do. And I have to say, I mean, not only in snow removal, I know a couple of them that help out with the Whibbit and Parks and Rec activities, Christmas in the park. I mean, all of that's so well deserving. But most importantly, you guys are dedicated workers in the whole state of New Mexico.
We appreciate
That's where you get called out in the wee hours, and with the small crew like you have now, you do an excellent job and the best. You serve your community well. Thank you
Yay.
very much. And this traveling bear, come here, James, get the bear for in the picture.
Traveling bear.
It's a traveling.
The traveling bear.
Yay.
Marty,
Thanks, Marty.
thank you.
Thank you.
And regardless of the weather, they're always out there.
Yeah, no lie.
That is the one department I could never work for. To be out there in the winter in a water break, nope.
That's true. That is. That's very challenging for a lot of us.
Remember when we had like -degree temperatures and water
Oh,
breaks
that
and they're
whole
still
week.
out there?
Yeah, I remember that very well. Moving on to the boards and commission appointments. We have a couple of appointments to the Watershed Advisory Committee. We have Counselor Susan Lutterman and our capital project manager, Cristela Armijo. I would entertain a motion for those appointments.
I'll make that motion as read.
Second,
Got a motion and a second?
think.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin,
Aye.
Counselor Eby,
Aye.
Counselor Letterman,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas,
Aye.
Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
Thank you, Susan and Cristela, for serving on this. I don't know if Cristela's here, but. Oh, okay.
I'm waiting for the day one of the counselors is nominated and votes no.
I thought about that one time or two ago. It goes in there. Okay, thank you. Counselor Lutterman, this is a very important committee.
Yeah, I've been, I go as a bystander. I have been for 4 or 5 years. And I enjoy it, so thank you.
Thank you. And we'll have, now moving on to the village manager's report. Mr. Sena.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Salas and members of the council. Our first presenter will be Bobby Simpson. This will be an update on Chiricahua and Paradise Canyon properties. This is on the clean and lean. Thank you, Bobby.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Bobby.
I've got a short presentation for the council. I think, was it included in your packets?
Yes.
Okay, so this is gonna be an overview, some follow-ups on some of the properties that we've already addressed, and then also some properties I wanna put on the council's radar that could potentially come before the council for clean and lean processes. Next slide. I don't have a clicker, I'd do it. So the properties are 116 Chiricahua, 502 Del Norte, 315 Paradise, which is the most complicated of those, which I'll debrief you on here in a moment. And then I want to bring to your attention 1611 Sutterth, a property on Del Mar, 209 Spring, and 210 Barkus. Next slide. So first off, 116 Chiricahua. This property has been completed as far as the clean and lean process. You can go to the next slide. So this property was a total cost of a little over $17,000. That lien amount has been submitted to legal. I believe that the lien has already been filed, correct? It's in the process. Okay. So a lien's going to be placed against the property. The way that the lien works is if the property changes hands at any point in the near future, during that process for the property turning over to another owner, the liens have to be paid. So the village would be paid back that money that we've actually used to clean and clear that property of the violations. If the property does for some reason not change hands, then there is a foreclosure process on that lien, but it must be done within 4 years. So I'm going to keep a spreadsheet on these to make sure that we are following through with our end of things.
Okay.
Next slide.
So that means you're on the hook to stay with us for 4 years.
Yes, sir. 502 Del Norte, this property has been completed recently. This was just mainly debris from the initial cleanup. That debris has been removed. The property's also been brought to forestry standards for fire safety issues. It's been left in a clean level and safe condition. The total cost for that was $4,381.65. Again, a lien will be placed against the property, and we'll make sure that we follow the process.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, if I may.
Yes, sir.
So on that property, I think I asked before, but I just don't remember. Trailer house that burnt, did the people that owned the structure own the property?
Yes.
Okay.
So the structure that burned and the property owner were one and the same. It wasn't a tenant. It was all kind of a one combined property. So the owner of the property is aware of what was going on. They've been given plenty of opportunities to clean the property themselves. They started to, but never finished it, and that's why we ended up coming in and taking care of it.
And so there's a lien again on that property?
That's in the process of being filed. It has been filed, okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Next slide. So 315 Paradise Canyon, this property has been difficult, we will say. Some issues came up. This council actually approved the process to go forth, clean and lean the property. We ran into an issue when we went out for quotes. You can go to the next slide. The only quote that we received was with a request to keep items that were on the property. The state statute gets a little funky, but basically it wouldn't be a normal aspect for us to allow someone or give permission to someone to keep personal property. The scope of work was basically to clear the property of the violations, and unfortunately, we didn't get a reasonable bid. The bid was 16 cents. So we stepped back, decided obviously there's an issue here. We've sought some advice from
New Mexico Self-Insurance Fund.
Thank you.
Legal counsel.
So we sought some legal counsel, and they gave us some advice, some direction to go from here. That advice was to contact the known children of the property owner, give them an opportunity to remove the items of value and or take action against the property. And if they fail to meet those timelines, then we can move forward.
Okay.
That notice has gone out. They've been given 30 days once that certified letter has been received. If they fail to react, if they fail to remove those items, we're going to go with two separate scopes. So one scope to clear the property of nuisances and other hazards, and then another scope is going to be to address the issues of valuables on the property. And I say valuables, things that could be considered to have value. Some of those items include vehicles that are on the property. There's also several vending machines, soda type vending machines. So those types of items are going to be held or separated into a different scope.
Bobby, so you said they received the letter and that's the 30-day count?
They have not yet.
They have not,
That
but
certified letter has gone out. As soon as they receive that letter, they have 30 days.
30 days.
I've also sent emails to the known email addresses for both the son and the daughter to the property owner, and have not received a response as of yet. But once
Okay.
I actually get a receipt on that certified letter, 30 days will begin, and after their 30 days expire, which I'm hoping that they actually do take action and come and get the property. It would ease our issues from our end as far as potential liability. So I'm hoping that they do something with that.
Okay. If you don't mind, let Ron know when you do get the receipt that they received the letter so he could inform us that
I will, absolutely, and I'm sure this will be coming up in future council meetings, just as a
Right.
debrief as we go through.
I just like to say, hey, they got the letter, they got 30 days, and we're one step at a time, because that's the questions I get, that how come this is taking so long? And Thank you.
Okay, next property is 1611 Sutterth. We all know this property is the pink building down near Domino's. This property was once brought into compliance, and by that what I mean is they secured the building that was unsecured. We had issues with people going into the building and potentially vandalizing. Open structures like that tend to bring out the worst in people, juveniles, delinquents, things of that nature. So they did secure the building for us at one point in time. The most recent conversation I've had with the property owner was almost 2 years ago. At that time, he intended to sell the property, put it on the market. Unfortunately, 6 months went by, nothing happened. Another few months went by. I've tried to reach out and contact him several times by certified mail with no receipt at all, and also by phone, and we have not received any kind of contact. So our next step with this, first off, we've been unable to make contact. Certified letter's been sent, as I mentioned. Structure does need repair. I had the building official go out, take a look at the building. There is structural damage. Water and other elements can get in through some of the roofing areas. One of the upstairs doors is unsecured. So there are some issues with this that we can't just leave it alone. It does need to be secured and repaired. They also don't have a vacant building permit, which we've set in the standards. We've recently adopted that within the last couple of years. Unfortunately, we get to a point of what should we do with this building? Should we demolish it? Should we do something of that nature? So at this point, I'm not bringing this forward yet. I just wanted you to be aware of it because we're going to submit to the municipal court and see if we can get a response through the courts. If we fail to get a response through the courts, at that point, it very well may be brought to council for decision on how to proceed.
Okay.
You're very good.
Next. Del Mar. I forget the address on this, but Del Mar is just a street off of Perk Canyon. And it's a little short dead-end street, and there's a few houses on it. This property has been on our radar for some number of years. We worked with a prior property owner. That property owner did a little bit of work and then stopped. But this most recent property owner, it's been turned over ownership in the last few years. They've actually obtained a re-roof permit and have started work on the property. At this point, we're going to monitor the situation, make sure that they continue to make improvements to the building. If it's going to be left vacant, make sure it meets vacant building standards, and so forth. It does need a lot of work, but we intend to work with the property owner, and if that process stalls, this may end up before council, and I just wanted you to have a heads up on that. 209 Spring, this property is up behind Midtown. It's boarded up. It used to be used for, I believe, a Boy Scout troop would come up. They would clear the property. That's kind of fallen off the rails. I believe there's been some issues within the family. I don't know if it's changed hands as of yet, but it was, again, priorly brought into compliance before we passed our blight standards for the vacant building standards. They did bring it into compliance, meaning they boarded everything up. The property was maintained, but at this point, it's obviously just degrading. And so this month, we are going to reach out by certified mail to contact the property owner, the current property owner and or family, to see if we can get them to get into compliance. And hopefully that one won't need to come before council because they were cooperative before. And our last property, which is 210 Barkus. This property had a fire in the garage. We had multiple issues at this property. A fire broke out in the garage. And we are currently working with one of several listed owners. The issue with this, and I bring it to your attention, is a lot of times family issues when there's multiple people on a property as far as listed as owners, and that tends to stall things with probates and other issues. So far, we've had one of the family members that are listed as a property owner, Mr. Apodaca. He's worked with us well. He's actually cleared a lot of the debris that was there. He's been given instruction by the building officials to bring the garage, the burnt portions, into compliance as far as safety and structural. Hopefully we won't have to bring that one before the council either, but I wanted you to know about it. And the last slide is just going to be some basic stats. Animal control code enforcement, we responded to a total of 3,926 calls over the year of 2022. Code enforcement specific calls were a little over 1,085. And we sent 125 notices of violation through the mail system, which start our basic processes. I just wanted the council to have some basic numbers to know we are doing what we can. As soon as I get my most recent hire trained and out on his own, give him his wings. I was mentioning to one of the other counselors, we plan on getting a little bit more aggressive and getting into some of these areas we know there are problems and becoming proactive rather than reactive. So we're working our way towards that, and we'll continue to do as much as we can.
Very good. Bobby, appreciate this report. Questions? Yes.
Thank you. And, and I may not, you may have to say, we can't talk about this, but that 310 Heath Drive, is it something to,
Yeah, I mean, it was
Chief.
brought up in the public hearing, so I don't know if complaints on that 310,
does that,
Heath Drive,
does that have to do with unsightly mess type stuff, or is that,
You were talking about 310.
Heath Drive.
Heath.
Yes, and we've addressed that numerous times throughout the years. The property is in compliance, with what the statute and the ordinance says. So, there's been numerous complaints, and every time that we do get a complaint, we do address it, and we make sure that they are in compliance with it. So
okay,
it's been an issue for many years.
okay.
As far as it being a blight property. But let's not mention
yeah.
about the other, but it's been in non-compliance as a blighted
Well,
property or.
it's been an opinion that it's out of compliance, but whenever we've gone over there, there's been numerous times that it's been in compliance. There's been complaints about vehicles, but whenever we've gone over there, every vehicle starts, they're able to move, they're not, outside of the ordinance, they're not in violation of anything. Some of the property complaints on the debris in the property, they've been picked up. I mean, wood is stacked. It's actually, I've physically gone by there and looked at it because of the allegations and the numerous complaints, and it's not completely unsightly by any means compared to some of the other properties that we've dealt with around the village.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just have one
Go
more.
right ahead.
On Hull Road, across from the Taylor's house, and where all the water is and everything. The other day, a truck, as I was passing, a truck was speeding through the water and then doing donuts. Are those things is that stuff that we can put some kind of a sign that says,
We can, but that putting up a sign like that to say that you can't do donuts or anything is kind of like putting the stop signs up that people don't pay attention to. So, we could do it, but we would have to be there to physically catch them.
is that our property or is that? the
Schools.
Okay.
So it'd almost need a fence put up.
But the bad thing is it just, the grass, it just messes everything up.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, and you get the big old
looks
ruts and so
terrible.
forth.
Okay.
So, a couple of things that I'd like to say is, Chief, I know I heard from a lot of people that say, well, we see this and the police department needs to deal with it, and a whole host of things. But the thing is you guys, by our legal system, are constrained in how you can react to things, because you need to witness certain activities take place before you can do it, or have some type of evidence.
Yes, sir.
And, so there's allegations that are being made against individuals or groups or whatever it happens to be. But at the same time, you can only act within the scope, your legal scope of law enforcement. The fact that it's not being taken care of doesn't mean it's not being addressed, but it's difficult. And I would be so frustrated to be a cop, because there's times you want to deal with stuff, but I know the constraints that you have.
Okay, and there's certain things like with private, especially when it deals with private property, there's only certain things we can enforce, on private property.
Right, exactly. And Bobby, I really appreciate the very last slide with the number of calls you guys did in 2022, because I do hear from people going, what do those guys do? And this, I just took my calculator and go, that's 11 calls per day, 365 days a year, that you're doing with. And what people have to also know is that many of these calls, there's paperwork. And again, it's that whole process that you have to do. So to be able to handle that many calls, yes, you may not be able to handle everything we call, and we want you there to take care of stuff immediately, but that's a lot of work that you guys are doing. And now, that was 2022. Now at 2023, you've got 3 of you in your department, so the response, the community's gonna see much greater response coming out. And I would expect those call volumes to the end of this year to go way up, and you'll see a lot more of that. But I had no clue as to the number of calls you guys are dealing with on a daily basis. So thank you for that last slide. That really meant a lot.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, to ditto on that, Officer Simpson, you've appeared before us many times. You always are well-prepared, and you bring, and the visual PowerPoint that you bring is very, very important to us and to everyone else. I just would like everyone to know that this job isn't a happy job. It's a negative job. You come to it with people that are aggravated and often not very cooperative. Some of the cases you brought to us have been lingering for years, not months, through no fault of your own. But again, the judicial system requires that we have our due diligence and that we do things appropriately. And again, I just want to thank you and your staff for the due diligence that you have promoted this with.
Thank you for the kind words.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Great job.
Very
Any other
good.
questions?
I think that's it,
I'll
Rob.
be back for the next thing a little bit later.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you.
Moving on.
Next, we have Matthew Baird, update on revenue and expenses of the skating rink.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you, sir.
One-year packet about a week ago.
Thank you. The park's been busy.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council, thanks for having me today. Good report, I think, for looking at the ice rink. So the first report you're going to see is for the full time we've been open through from the first day to today. So you can see that our gross sales have been $71,724 for our gross sales for that ice rink. So it's been great. That's a total of 4,543 individual, what we call items sold, so individual visitors. So just over 4,500 visitors. Expenses have been about 43,400, and that's not including the cost of the rink. I do want to make that known. That's staffing, fuel costs, generator costs, things like that. So our profit overall for the ice rink has been $28,324 profit. So I think it's something very beneficial to the village, and then also to the community members. If you'll see the breakdown, it actually has a breakdown of the daily passes sold, which are our out-of-town passes, our visitor passes, $20 passes. You'll see the local season passes. That's something exciting to me. We have 744 local season passes, so that's about a tenth of the population of Ruidoso, so that's pretty impressive to me. And then you also see homeschool ice rink fees. So the homeschool group has come a couple times, brought all their kids to skate, and so we did a discounted rate for them to bring their kids for those times. And then local check-ins. So we've sold 744 local passes. They've checked in again 544 times, and so those are kind of the numbers. The expenses you'll see, the generator rental is about $15,000. The fuel cost, that's our base expense, has been $18,400 for the diesel for that. We were wanting to alleviate that this next year by putting in permanent power for that ice rink. Now that we own it, we're wanting to put 3-phase 440 power in that park, so we don't have the generator rental cost or the fuel cost. So that should lower our costs tremendously. And then staffing costs and other miscellaneous costs you'll see there. The second report you see is for the 2 weeks during the Christmas holiday. So December 16th through January 2nd, so Christmas, New Year's holiday timeframe. You'll see our gross sales then were $48,686. Almost 3,000 participants in those 2 weeks. So those are definitely our busy weeks.
Yeah.
We have over half our revenue coming in 2 weeks.
So what's, the rule on the refunds?
So all those refunds you'll see on here, were instances of, like the daily passes. Mom bought daily pass for the kids, and then dad didn't realize it and came and bought daily pass and then realized they bought two passes for
Double
the same
passes.
kid.
Okay.
That's all the daily ones, and the locals, a family of four bought them, and then literally turned around, the kids were terrified to get on the ice. They were freaking out, and so we refunded them for those four, is what those 13 refunds you see.
Okay, very good.
Normally, we don't do refunds, but those were kind of.
Yeah, I kind of remember that or something, or seeing the sign up there, no refunds.
Yeah, no refunds, but those were unique situations.
Yeah, those are.
Which are reasonable, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a right choice to do on that,
So I
so.
have a question on staffing cost.
Yes, sir.
From November 1st through January 2nd, you spent $4,500 on staffing. But then when with this new report, which is another week basically, or 8 days, the staffing cost went up to $6,000.
So part of that was when payroll,
$1,500 and
part of that was when payroll hit.
Oh, okay, got it.
Payroll didn't hit.
Okay.
So I couldn't get those numbers for
Okay,
that
got
January
it.
2nd.
Yeah, because I'm going, $1,500 in 8 days, but yet you were $4,500 for over 2 months? And it's
Yeah,
like,
it was when payroll kind of hit.
Got it, okay, makes sense.
Great job.
Any other questions for Matt?
Just one, and Matt, thank you for all the hard work and your staff. As far as the maintenance on the ice rink itself, is that a challenge or not?
There are challenging parts to it. It's not terrible. My staff's been able to handle it pretty easily. We do have to scrape it every night. You put more water on it, fresh water, trying to smooth it out. It's not as easy as if you had a Zamboni to do it, doing it all by hand. We do have hand scrapers that we scrape and things like that. But overall, it hasn't been terrible. There are some actually smaller Zambonis that
That's what I was gonna
fit
ask.
on that size of ice rink that I am kind of looking into for maybe this next year to propose to put in the budget to.
Yeah, that would,
Then it will give a better surface.
For the
yeah,
overall and.
overall
provide
surface.
that surface. Thank you.
yeah, that would be great.
Do you have any kind of estimate as far as what the cost would be to bring in the 440 power you were talking about?
I do not have an estimate right now. They'll have to bring it from the north side of the park. We'll have to ditch all the way across the park and put it in. And so I do know P&M does give credit, and so we'll kind of see how much power we think we'll use. And then they do give a kind of a credit towards that also of your estimated power use.
Because, I mean, that would eliminate $33,000 worth
Yeah,
of expenses.
exactly.
So I can't see it being too
Well, and-
expensive.
And plus chasing the generator and the fuel levels.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
do have to have staff members there twice a day to fuel up the generator, and so it will alleviate a lot of those. With getting rid of the generator and fuel costs, I would expect us to pay off with the profits, pay off the ice rink in 5 years or less. And so.
Very good.
And
Mayor-
they think that the ice rink should last about 25 years is the usable life on them, so.
Not to look for a black eye, but has there been any incidents, injuries, anything reportable, I guess you'd say?
So we have had, of course, some little bumps and bruises on the ice, little falls, nothing major. We did have one incident in the park. It was not on the ice. It was on the, actually slope just north of the ice rink that iced over, one night or one day. And it doesn't get much sun there. We did have an elderly, lady, slip and, fall. I believe she had a fractured wrist is what we were reported. But that was just a icy spot in the park she slipped and fell on. We did take precautions and cleaned up that ice and actually cordoned off that area of the park. You'll see there's barriers kind of on that north side now, because that area just does not get sun. And
Yeah.
so when we get that frost laid on it, there's nothing to thaw that frost out.
Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions for Matt?
No, just thank you for your hard work.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
for
sir.
your support.
Thank you, Matt.
Next, we have Christmas lights throughout the village of Ruidoso.
Mr. David. I never knew, I always thought his name was T-Bone. They said, talk to David. I said, who's David?
Mayor Pro Tem, councilors, staff. My report's easy compared to those other guys. We started removal of the Christmas lights on Monday. We got the Circle and Upper Canyon, and we hit all the wreaths at the buildings, the police station, Village Hall, Community Center, Convention Center. Fire Station 1 and 2. We also hit part of Schoolhouse Park. I believe it's all done except for the decorations on the poles, which we will get when we borrow the bucket truck. We started the Y already, so we're way ahead of schedule from this schedule. We'll continue removing everything. We'll remove some things next week around Wingfield Park. And then on the 30th, we'll remove the rest at Wingfield Park and around the ice skating rink. And then on February 6th, we'll take down all the decorations in Midtown. And I call it Uptown. I don't know if that's actually what it's called, but to Meacham from Midtown.
From Schlotsky's up to the Circle is Uptown, I believe.
Okay. Well, from Midtown to the Circle.
To the Circle. But it includes Uptown.
Okay.
So,
Yes. And that's all I have on the decorations. I mean, it takes a little while to put them all away. You know, they take them down, but then we wrap them and tape them and put them in boxes and store it, so.
of course, it's a lot of decorations.
And that's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Tetral?
Thanks, T-Bone.
Thank you.
Gosh, I got so many compliments
Oh,
on
yes.
all the lights in the parks, and it just, people
That's always
just,
been my favorite time of year.
absolutely. So
T-Bone,
thank
I
you.
just had one question. How did you survive the typhoon that we had race through here? I could imagine some of those, with those high winds. None of those decorations seemed to go anywhere.
You know, we did have a few decorations fall in Midtown, but, you know, we drive by it every day. Our guys see it and they just get right on it and get them back up.
Well, you're to be congratulated, because
Yes,
those were
thank
some
you.
really heavy winds.
Thank you.
I see in the future, if we continue to grow as much as we have been with all the decorations, we'll be starting to put them up in August.
Well, we're gonna start a couple weeks earlier next year.
Okay.
Well, T-Bone, take note that in the plaza in Kansas City, they start on their rimming of lights for the plaza in July, so we're not nearly there yet.
No, that's true. So,
Do you have a question?
No.
No? Thank you very much, T-Bone.
Thanks.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, T-Bone. Mayor Pro Tem Salas, members of the council, just a few items on the village manager's report. The 2023 State of the Village, the mayor will be presenting that on Monday, the 23rd of January, 6 p.m. It'll be here at Village Hall, also be on Zoom. We'll be beginning our strategic planning on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's the 24th through the 26th, and that'll be here in the Village Hall. And each department director will be presenting their tactical plans. And the New Mexico State, the legislative session for 2023 will begin on Tuesday, January the 17th. So there's a lot to be a 60-day session. There's a lot of bills there that going to be very critical for the village, for the statewide. So we'll be receiving that information. I know Jenny's been looking at some of the preliminary ones, and there's one that was very interesting, and with the law enforcement, of course, DWI and other issues that are happening, we're going to be monitoring those bills, and then we'll get that information out to the council. So, and I'll stand for any further questions on the manager's report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Sena on the manager's report? Very well done. Thank you, Ron. Next item is reports from municipal officials, and I'll start with Councilor Eby.
Well, there's really not much to say except for thank you for all the village departments and employees for keeping this amazing village going, because they're the ones that make it amazing. And, you know, there were a lot of compliments about all of the lights and all the festivities and the, let's say, activities in town for Christmas, for the holiday seasons, that the people that came here really did get to enjoy. So there's a lot of compliments about that. And again, thanks to the water department, because there were several leaks and they really had to be out there in freezing cold weather and the high winds, get those leaks repaired. And I would just say we're just welcoming in to 2023. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Councilor Letterman.
I just have to say ditto to what Joe just said, and Happy New Year to everyone. And looking forward to 2023.
Great, great. Councilor Hooker.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. good job so far today. You're doing great.
All right.
We continue to wish the mayor good recovery in his efforts. And as he made a statement in the near past that was talking about how the village is not just one, it's a total group, it's a team. That's everybody that works for the village, and so it just mirrors everything that's going on. There may be rough times, bumps in the roads, that kind of stuff, but it keeps going nonetheless, so Happy New Year.
Thank you. Councilor Coughlin.
Well, since the mayor's not here, I can't pick on him, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. So I got the notice this morning, thank you, letting me know that his surgery went well, that he can't speak, which is a good thing, and that he had promised that this surgery will also help his attitude, so that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Looking forward
Him
for
coming
that
back
result.
with a new attitude, but no, I hope I wish for him a speedy recovery and get back to conducting business. Things have been busy around here, and everybody's coming together, and like you just said, it's a team effort. There's not any one person that does everything, but with all of us putting it together, things are moving along, and it's pretty amazing to think of when I first got on the council 9 years ago and where we're at now. It's just amazing to go back and think about it. So congratulations to all the employees for making it come to that point.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Councilor Jackson.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, a quick one. First of all, to thank Ron Sena for stepping up
Yes.
and making
Very
basically a seamless administrative change, which was not small, and has made, as captain of the ship, has kept us on a good course along with our mayor. The second one basically is just dittoing what's been said before.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And I guess I'll chime in with a couple of them. I just want to wish my beautiful, intelligent, elegant wife a happy birthday today. So, honey, happy birthday. And,
It's birthday week, remember?
yes, I
Yes.
saw Councilor Coughlin at Rio Grande Grill Sunday and told him, yeah, celebrating her week, or I told her it's birthday week. So we were with her brother and sister-in-law, and it started out good. And the only thing that I have for dinner tonight is some TV dinners to prepare for her. So there's more to come. The second thing, I just want to remind everybody that AARP at our community center is offering free tax service. So please, if you know anybody that's needing assistance with tax service, call there. I think next week to set up an appointment. They begin the process in February, I believe February 1st. Which reminds me, February 1st is Lincoln County Days up in Santa Fe that evening. So that's important to attend. However, some of us won't be there, but hopefully we'll be up at the legislature for Municipal Day, which is a couple of weeks after that. So, but yes, ditto to everybody what the comments were said. And it's just going to be looking forward to another year, and we're going to make forward progress immensely is what I see. So thank you all for your hard work and doing what you do. Okay, moving on to public hearing. Our first public hearing is a quasi-judicial hearing on ordinance 2023-01, an ordinance consenting to the annexation of continuous territory to the village of Ruidoso, New Mexico. And I have a script somewhere. So I believe the first thing I have on here is open the public hearing. And the public hearing today will be conducted under the procedures mandated by the New Mexico Court of Appeals in Battershell versus City of Albuquerque, which is intended to protect the due process rights of all parties. Under this ruling, the following procedures will apply. Parties to the hearing will be identified as well as witness to the parties that may wish to give testimony. B, all persons offering testimony will be sworn in by the Mayor Pro Tem or the other designee, which I already asked our Madam Clerk to swear in everyone, or I could do it if you want, who is authorized to administer the oath. All persons offering testimony will be limited to the relative matter being heard. The issue to be decided in the public hearing is ordinance number 2023-01, an ordinance consenting to the annexation of continuous territory being 126 North Candlewood subdivision, Section 21, Township 11S, Range 13E, into the Village of Ruidoso. Request submitted by David and Lynette Bryce, owners of the property. And at this time, I want to announce that if you're going to speak to this issue, or you even think you might want to speak to this issue, or you're not thinking right at the moment to speak to this issue, but may come up when discussion starts, I would ask you to stand and be sworn in. So this is the only opportunity to be sworn in to speak on this public hearing. Do we have anybody to speak? Go ahead and stand.
Sir, could you state your name? Chad Hartgrove. I'm sorry? Chad Hartgrove. Okay. So we have Adam, Mr. Hartgrove, and Stephanie.
And we got Adam in the back there.
Yeah, Adam, Chad, and Stephanie.
Oh, I didn't hear you say Adam.
Okay, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth and the penalty of perjury of law?
I do.
Thank you. Stephanie, I'll call on you to start up with the case at hand.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, we are here today for a recommendation of support to approve the petition for annexation of this proposed replat, or this proposed plat to be brought into our boundary to accommodate for a proposal replat. Currently, the properties are divided in such a manner of length where one property is outside our boundary, where the other one is inside. The proposal of the replat, they're actually wanting to divide it north and south, which is compromising between the boundaries of the municipalities. So in order to achieve their proposal, they are petitioning to be brought in. It is simply just that one tract of land.
Okay.
And if I saw in the plat right there, that's the east-west direction, and that portion is in the county.
Correct.
And then where the house is situated, that's Village of Ruidoso Municipal Corporate Limits.
Yes, sir.
And then you were saying they're wanting to combine those, but are they looking at splitting them again?
Yes.
To go, like you said,
Yes, it'll
north-south?
be an alternate division. Instead of running east to west, it'll be north to south.
Okay. I just had to clarify on that, so. The applicant, as I mentioned, is David and Lynette Bryce. And at this time, does anybody have questions for Stephanie from the council on?
I'll wait till later.
Okay. So according to my outline, I may designate other persons or parties as they can show to be satisfactory of the governing body that they have an immediate, concurious, or direct interest in the outcome of the public hearing. Witnesses are those persons who are designated by parties to present testimony on their behalf. Are there any persons present that wish to be considered as the party? Any other issues? Are there any members of the governing body who may have a conflict of interest? None? No. Has there been any outside or ex parte communications by any members of the governing body to the applicant? No. None. Okay, great. We've sworn in all the parties, and now the staff had done their presentation, and the governing body has no questions for staff. Does the applicant have any cross-examination for the staff? Do we have the applicant here?
We do have Mr. Harcrow here on behalf of the applicants.
Okay. Mr. Hartcrow, would you like to cross-examine what was presented by Ms. Stephanie here?
No, she pretty much summed it up. To me, this is pretty straightforward. It's,
Yep.
so.
Okay.
I'm mainly here in case there's any questions or concerns.
Thank you. Any of the other parties, which we didn't have any recognized there. So the applicant presentation, I'm assuming is that what you kind of just said, right? So since they're not here, but you've mentioned you're in sync with what was presented, correct? So at that time, Councilor Coughlin, I don't know if you want to bring up your question now, or, because I got a question.
I'm just kind of confused with what exactly they're proposing to bring in. As I'm looking at this document that says proposed plat for annexation, I see a Bryce Tract 2B-1, and then there's a Bryce Tract 3B-1. It looks to me as if the southern part of that tract is within the village, the northern portion is not, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're bringing in the northern portion into the tract and then subdividing that north and south into two tracts this way. Because it refers to a tract 3A, but I don't see any marking as far as 3A.
The 3A would be the designation after the replat. Currently, they are known as Snyder Tract 2 and Tract 3A-1. That's their current recognizations.
Okay, so the Bryce Tract 2B and 3B would be the new designations for them.
Correct.
Okay. Do we know, do the property owners have any plans to further subdivide that in the future?
Per our public hearing with the Planning Commission, that was a concern that was addressed. At this time, there is no further anticipation of further subdivisions being taken place on this. It is simply to deed to additional family members, remaining in just the two tracts. There was a condition placed that in the future, if at all any further subdivisions were to take place, they would have to incorporate and bring forth their own water rights. So that's something that they said they're definitely not anticipating and have no anticipation of furthering other than just the two lots.
Is the house currently on sewer?
Yes, as far as my knowledge and our staff reviews.
Was there any restrictions if it is subdivided regarding the sewer as well? Because what I'm concerned with is, and I don't know, I'm just guessing, I'm surmising and trying to, one of the phrases we have in the office is be proactive rather than reactive. So just to be proactive is, are they attempting to do a replat to then further subdivide and add value to those northern lots by then having connections to water and sewer, which we're going to have an expense to do?
The way we evaluated it and the testimony presented would just be for the development of one additional house and not the anticipation for more. And upon our staff development review, we have the necessary requirements to support one additional household. I believe that would be something that would be further reviewed if brought in and re-subdivided.
And that house would be developed on 3B-1?
Correct.
Correct, okay. That's all my questions.
I had a question for Adam, just so I get it in the record. By annexing this portion of the county into the village of Ruidoso, do we have the adequate supply of utilities to provide service for this new lot, being water and sewer, of course.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council, yes, the one house is actually connected to water and sewer, and the sewer's on a 4-inch. If they would annex the lot and they kept it, the lot line running east and west, there would have to be an easement, and that, becomes an issue with water and sewer. But being it's running north and south, there's not an issue.
Not an issue with that, so they'll be able to connect directly on that. So, okay. Does anyone else have a question for staff? Or- No?
No.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, with that said, I'll close the public hearing and entertain the motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve ordinance 2023-01, an ordinance consenting to the annexation of contiguous territory to the village of Ruidoso, New Mexico.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call, Madam Clerk?
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
And Counselor Jackson?
Aye. It passed.
Thank you, Stephanie. You did a great job.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you very
yes.
much.
Thank you.
The
Our,
attachments are well appreciated.
thank you, sir, for being here. Our second item is ordinance 2023-02, an ordinance amending chapter 14, section 14-4, licensing of dogs and cats.
I'm back.
Long time no see.
You didn't learn the first time, huh?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, Council, this is a change of ordinance, and we're suggesting the change of ordinance for licensing of dogs and cats, and replacing that with a mandatory microchip requirement, so mandatory microchips and reporting. Ultimately, new technology has come about. Microchips are something that many municipalities are using in lieu of licensing, and our old licensing ordinance was flawed. There was some difficulties with enforcement, and ultimately a tag can fall off. And so ultimate goal in this is to get animals home instead of to bring them to the shelter, and make sure that we have proper registration associated to that. I do have some members from the Humane Society. They're hopefully willing to answer any questions that any of the counselors have. And I will mention that if this ordinance is passed, they have agreed to do a low-cost microchip timeframe. I believe we said 90 days. For 90 days, once the ordinance comes into effect, the Humane Society will offer microchips at a reduced rate of $15.
Nice.
Microchips normally are somewhere between $30 and $35 for a microchip. So they're willing to help out to try and get the community into compliance and help us get animals home. One more thing I will note is that the Humane Society has been nice enough to equip our animal control officers, not only here but also in Lincoln County, with microchip scanners so that we can get that information while we're in the field. It'll eliminate us even having to go back to the shelter to identify that.
Yeah.
So we could be right around the corner from the animal's home, and we can get that information and get them home.
Yeah, that's great.
That's very generous of you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, sir.
Officer Simpson, how can we get the word out? This, that may be directed to the Humane Society. I mean, they well know my dog as you do, but how would everybody know that?
So we're planning on doing a major social media push. We're going to work with our social media folks and get it not only on the police department's Facebook page, our Facebook page, also get with the folks that do our media for the village. And then on top of that, I'm going to look into possibly getting maybe an article run in the newspaper. Hopefully we can get that information with the newspaper, working with them to get some type of information in the newspaper. However, most people seem to get their news from their electronic devices these days rather than the newspaper.
Yeah.
So I think a social media push would be the best thing. Hopefully we can talk the mayor into Mondays with the mayor, announcing that a few times to get that information out via that. And anything else that the council or any member has suggestions, we're open to that information. But mostly a social media push to get that information out.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Bobby?
I've got one question.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, in the very beginning, of course, it says in the ordinance amending and referring to licenses of dogs and cats. But in the body of the ordinance, it refers, not to dogs and cats, but it refers to a domesticated animal. So would that, legally spread over to, like if somebody had a domesticated pig, domesticated goat, and so on? That's just a question.
You bring up a very good point. My interpretation would be domesticated animals referring to pets because it's under animal ordinance.
Yes.
However, we could amend that to say dogs and cats.
Because if that's what we're targeting and not trying to bring in all of the other.
Yeah.
Ferrets and pigs and turkeys and, no, completely understandable.
Well, because,
So-
yeah, you're liable to get that question, you know, we have a parakeet, or we have Tommy the tortoise, or, you know, Sammy the snake, whatever, I could go on.
Well, in 4B, it does refer to dogs and cats at that point, with a veterinarian or other person who implants an identification microchip in a dog or cat. Needs to provide the information to the Humane Society. But yeah, I don't think of those as domesticated animals. Those are still farm animals.
They are technically domesticated, so it's a
Yeah.
very valid point. I appreciate that. So we can change, under A, 14.4A, instead of, or control over a domesticated animal, you could replace domesticated animal with dog or cat.
3, you also refer to domesticated animal as well in there.
Yeah. Four, two.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
but he just,
wherever it says domesticated, just
Yeah.
change that to a dog or a cat.
any other questions
Do you want
for
to
Officer?
open up the?
That's what I was about to do until.
After
once we
then I'll,
get there.
then I'll comment
Okay.
on it.
So, at this time, I will open up the public hearing to the public to make any comment or anyone? TV land? Or Zoom land or what? You know what, I forgot in that
We got
last
the
public
solace question,
hearing.
yeah.
Did the clerk's office receive any correspondence to this issue on the public hearing?
The clerk's office did not.
Okay. Yes, sir.
My name's Randy Rue.
Can you come up closer so we can record you, Randy? Thank you very much.
Recruit too?
Yeah?
My name is Randy Rue. I'm at 220 Sunny Slope. I just have a quick question about what if you've moved here from somewhere else, or whether you're visiting here from somewhere else, your animal is chipped, you put another chip in, how is your chip reader going to decide which one's which?
No, as the ordinance, the way that this reads is as far as a microchip, it's just a microchip. So you don't have to get a new microchip by
But
moving
then the
here.
microchip that's in there from, for me, example, my dog was microchipped in Clovis, New Mexico, probably 12 years ago.
Yeah, so under the ordinance, we've got, if there's a change in ownership or of a registrant or any changes in that, you can just get that information updated with the microchip company or report it to the Humane Society.
That's answered my question. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Randy.
you.
That was a good question.
It
I didn't
was.
even think
That's a
of
good
that. Yes, ma'am. If you don't mind, come up so we get you recorded.
I'm Debbie Barbie. I'm the president of the board for the Humane Society. I just wanted to know when this would go in effect. Is it immediately after you vote?
I think it's like 14 days, I
14
forgot.
days,
Well, don't hold me to that, I forget. When we approved the ordinance, there's a time period before that it takes effect, and I'm not.
Yes, excuse me, it goes back and gets published in the paper, and then once that's complete, I believe it's 5 days.
So 5
Correct,
days.
I think that's correct.
So when will it be posted in the paper, do you know?
Probably by Friday's paper.
So directly after this meeting, it will be published, it will be submitted to the newspaper by the close of business tomorrow or the next day for publication. And if you like, I can call you and let you, and give you some more specific information if you like.
Because before we do our media blitz, you know, we want to make sure we know when this goes
When
effective.
it goes into effect.
Sure,
And we can do, Tim Keithley has us regularly do radio spots with him. And we have a lot of input into, lots of Facebook presence and.
Great,
And we're having a newsletter go out pretty soon. So-
wonderful.
We also have a,
Yeah, we can put it in our.
we also have a radio show also on our radio station, so we can invite Abel, and that'd be great to have you guys on the radio station also.
Absolutely, yes, please have Abel on there.
I have Abel's number, so I'll get a hold of him.
Okay, thank you.
And Debbie, if you'll just,
Thank you very much.
Debbie, if you'll just write your phone number on here for me and leave it. Thank you.
Did I close the public hearing? Is there any other comment? Oh, here comes a couple more.
My name's Beth Humphrey, and I'm also on the board of the Humane Society of Lincoln County. I just wanted to stand up and give my support for the new ordinance wording. Microchipping has proven us, just in the last 6 months or so, since the animal control officers have gotten their chip readers, that we've been able to get animals home within literally minutes
Yeah.
of reading the chips and figuring out who was there. Just from my own experience, one morning, this was all in one day, you all know Tim as my husband. He picked up a dog at the
That's the first she's
at the
admitted
Boys
in
and Girls
public.
Club. I do admit it.
Do you take full responsibility?
I do not take any responsibility, but I will admit he did pick up a dog at the Boys and Girls Club and took it over to the Humane Society shelter, and they were able to scan it, and it did have a chip, and they were able to get it back to its owner within that day. Wow. Literally that same day, my dogs were barking at home, and I went outside, and there was this huge Malamute eating my feral cat food. And I went out and was able to get him into my backseat of my car, took him over to the Humane Society. Chris was there. She came out with the scanner. She scanned him. She said, he's a repeat offender. He lives at this place. She called the owners, and I literally took him home and had him home in 15 minutes.
Oh.
So I think that my support is solid, and I think it's something that's really good for our shelter. The overpopulation here is crazy, and I just wanted to give you my support.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we had, I'm sorry, there's Josh back here, and then I'll call on you. Thank you.
I do have a question for you.
Get up here before you say I have a question for you.
How is that gonna work with like the county boundaries here?
That,
Meaning that we have county, somebody could live right here in town and they're in the county.
Yeah.
right,
And, well, I don't have to do it, I'm in the county, but even though they're right in the middle of Ruidoso.
right. And then that, our jurisdiction is within the corporate limits of the village of Ruidoso. That's why we create our ordinance there. So
Right.
if
yeah,
you're right in that
It was just a
county spot.
curiosity question, being
Right.
that we're kind of strange in that way, that it's city, county, city, county, city, county, and county right in the middle of village limits, and
We also have the city of Ruidoso Downs.
Yep.
Right.
So if this passes today, I will take this language to some of our new county commissioners, and I'll also take it to the city of Ruidoso Downs, some of the council members over there that I know, and urge them to work to adopt it as well, so that we have one common throughout the entire county.
Yeah, that's
Because,
great.
yeah, we're, you also got Capitan, you got Corona, and you've got all those others out there too.
Right.
But there's some great advantages to it. And what it is, and I'll go ahead and speak now, is the savings, the dollar savings, because everybody's interested in saving a buck, to the individual pet owner, this is gonna save them a lot of money. It's one time, if they do it in the next 90 days, you said, $15. That's cheaper than the microchipping fee 10 plus years ago, where it used to be $25. It's a one-time fee. You don't have to pay anything ever again. It saves the Humane Society money because it costs them money every single day that an animal is brought to them while they're trying to locate the owner. It saves the municipalities money because we're providing funding to the Humane Society to help care for all these stray animals. And then it helps to get that animal who's under stress, because they're running around, they're scared like crazy. I've picked up I don't know how many animals, just open the door and they jump in. It eliminates that stress to the animal and gets them back it can be almost immediately.
Right.
The gentleman left that was asking, he moved here from out of state. The one animal that I took over to the Humane Society and Abel scanned it, those were people that were visiting from Lubbock, Texas, I believe, or Abilene, one of them. And they were just here visiting, but the chip scanned the chip, was able to get their phone number, call them, and they were over within half an hour, 45 minutes or so to pick up the animal. So it doesn't matter. You take your animal to Virginia, I don't know why you'd want to go there, but you can go to Virginia, and if your animal gets loose, it's scanned, and those chips work all around the country. So it's a huge thing. This is something that Bobby and I have been discussing for months, and along with Abel. And I see this as only, I can't see anything negative about it. The chip that goes in, some people said, "Oh my God, you're injecting an animal." They can't feel it. Where it's injected, it's so small, it's less than a vaccination. So they don't really even move when it's being put in, and it's a one-time thing. But yes, definitely, that's my next step, is to get the county. I'll be pressuring those people, and I'll be pressuring the city of Ruidoso Downs, because they do have scanners that have been provided by the Humane Society as well. Saves everybody time, aggravation. You know, we're not even counting the cost of having animal control officers or fuel to pick up an animal, drive it all the way over there and drop it off, and what happened. They can almost immediately go, "Oh, yeah, that dog believes right down the street here," and we can get it back, so.
Right, and it was just my question because, like how we are, you know, you go down Paradise Canyon.
Yep.
And you're in the county.
Yeah.
You're up on the side of
On
the
the road
road
there,
there,
yep.
in the county there, so. It was kind of a question, with them being in town, if they have animals up there, how are we gonna be able to enforce that with them being in town, even though they're considered part of the county?
Yeah, well, Counselor Coughlin has that answer. Get-
Yeah, and that was my
And that's your
question for
voice,
that,
so,
you know,
okay.
it's some of these areas, you know, where we are like that, would that be enforceable?
We're kind of strange here rather than big cities. I mean, we've got so many different municipalities, but we all need to work together, which we do for the most
We
part.
do.
We
We
pretty well.
have been here lately, so, and your turn, ma'am.
My name is Maria Shows, also known as Chris Shows. I'm shelter manager at the Humane Society. Just wanted to add in with what Tim was saying. There are multiple databases, so if you're from out of town and there is a chip and it's not in my system, I am able to go into that other database, put that chip number in. Most of the time, it will send them a text message, a voicemail,
Oh, wow.
and an email that their animal has been found and where they're located. I've been able to reunite animals years and years after they've gone missing. One in particular, he was missing for 3 years. Owners moved away to back east. I was able to get in contact and they were reunited with their dog after 3 years.
Wow.
This is also something I've set up with the vets. They have access to my system. So once they get an animal in, if they're chipped at the vet's office, they can add it into my system or vice versa. They can also go in there and check what information I have on that animal so that we can get them back to the owners as needed.
That's very good. That's really good communication with everyone on there. Networking, very good job. Anyone else? Well, at this time, I'll close the public hearing. And I've asked the clerk, no notices to the clerk's office, so I'll entertain a motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve ordinance 2023-02, an ordinance amending chapter 14, section 14-4, licensing of dogs and cats.
With the amendments of taking out.
With the amendments of
Taking out
editing the domesticated animals, yes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote?
Just one thing, and this is just to thank the Humane Society for all the hard
Yes.
work you do. I wish they had this technology when my daughters were growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're next. Get ready.
Well, and the one thing that wasn't brought up is this only applies to animals that have been fixed.
Yes.
If they are left unneutered, if they're considered to be vicious animals, they still have to go through the licensing process. So there's another incentive to get your animals spayed or neutered, so we don't have all these animals running around town. So, it's a
Good point. Thank
it's a
you.
horrible situation and sometimes a very horrible death for them.
Thank you for bringing that up, Counselor. Roll call, please.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas?
Aye.
And Counselor Hooker.
Aye.
Great. Thank you all very much. At this time, we'll take a 10-minute recess and reconvene whenever 10 minutes is up.
2:45.
Well, it took a while, but we got it.
Hey, you bet, buddy. Good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Chris.
Good, wonderful.
You bet. You bet.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
So at the fourth one, that would be what we get, is every,
You know, I was gonna thank you for that. When I took them for number 3, you weren't in, so I got the paperwork for number 1 and number 2. Number 3,
Oh, and in my house, we'd say, Mama said.
Mama said. Okay, everyone, I'll reconvene our recess time and we will begin on our regular items. Don't forget to unmute your microphones, please. Regular item number 1, discussion and possible action on revised Ruidoso Police Department policies pertaining to complaints and notices, internal affairs, discipline, awards and recognition, and uniforms and insignias. Chief and Deputy Chief.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council, we have been in the process for a while of getting some of our policies up to date and following the guidelines of the New Mexico Municipal League, so that way our department can become accredited. So this is the first step. You will see many more policies coming in future meetings. That way we can get all of our policies adopted and the public has a chance to know exactly what we're operating under and what our operating procedures are.
Thank you. And of course, this is a living document, so it could change as
And with
time goes by.
and that's absolutely correct, because with keeping up with case law and keeping up with the new statutes that are passed by the state, we may have to come back to the council with amendments to our policies because of those decisions that are made up in Santa Fe.
Sounds good.
Constant changes.
Constant, yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, sir.
Given that this is to keep us in regulatory compliance and put us in a center of excellence for police department work, I move to approve revised Ruidoso Police Department policies pertaining to complaints and notices, internal affairs, discipline awards and recognition, and uniforms and insignia.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Question?
Yes, sir.
Chief, so I was talking with Ms. Fernandez here just a minute ago, and you know, it's really difficult because, heck, I can make an allegation that you just spit your gum out or stuck it up underneath the table, or I can do, you know, whatever. And I'm sure that even with municipal officials and with employees, there's a lot of complaints that come, like I discussed earlier, that we're not able to substantiate. Before apparently there was a written notice to the complainant about how things are handled, and I know we can't disclose how something's handled, but at least that it's being handled. Are we doing it so people who come forward with a complaint and provide their information, are we letting them know that, thank you, this is being handled, and we can't tell them how it's being handled, but that it's being handled?
Yes, sir. In fact, when I came in here today, I dropped off a envelope in the outgoing mail to be mailed to a complaining party that we just looked into an allegation.
Okay. And that, I know sometimes people want to come to you and or they'll make an anonymous phone call or whatever. Or you will get, like, we've gotten mail sent to us that with no return address and no real signature, no name on it. And we can't respond to it because we don't know how to respond to that person. So how do you guys handle those types of situations where it's just no name, no whatever, it's like, hey, so-and-so is doing something that shouldn't be doing?
We do look into those complaints. We're not able to provide a response to anybody or what steps or measures that we took. But a lot of times if we do have a complaint like that and there's a training issue or anything else, we will look into those complaints just like anything else, but we just wouldn't be able to respond to anybody.
And I'm sure I'm speaking for you, but you would really appreciate the information from the complainant so you can reach back out to them, because there's probably a lot more questions you have, and without being able to contact them, you're not being able to get that information.
Absolutely. If we did have that information, there would, it could lead to more allegations or other misconduct being uncovered if we were able to actually chat with them.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas?
Aye.
And Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Thank you very much, Chief, Deputy Chief. Item number 2, discussion and possible action on grant award with the New Mexico Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management Fire Protection Grant Council for the purchase of a mobile cascade in the amount of $201,205.67. Yes, sir, Chief.
Pro Tem, Council. This grant award is from the Department of Homeland Security, as it says, Fire Protection Grant. This will allow the Village of Ruidoso Fire Department to purchase a mobile cascade trailer. And what a mobile cascade trailer actually is a trailer set up to fill our air bottles up that we use on fire scenes, the SCBA packs. Right now, we either have to try to contact the county and see if they can get their trailer into us, or we have to take our bottles back to our main fire station to fill them up, which if our fire's on the far side of town, it could take about an hour to get over there, fill the bottles up and take them back. So this will actually allow us on scene to start filling bottles as the firefighters go through them and get the firefighters back in the fight quicker.
Okay,
Yeah, this is great.
that sounds really good. I forgot that the county had the same setup.
They do, but, and some, it takes, a lot of times we've called Joe Kenmore and it's taken up to an hour for him to get
Somebody
yeah,
there
to the trailer and get it to us.
Yeah.
Or it could be out on one of their scenes. So this will allow us to help other entities as well. If the Downs needs a trailer, we'll be able to we'll work a mutual aid agreement in to take our trailer to other locations as well.
So you just answered my second question, so we'll look at a mutual agreement with the Downs as well and,
Yes, sir.
and get that moving. Okay.
I make a motion to approve the award with the New Mexico Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management's Fire Protection Grant Council for the purchase of the mobile cascade in the amount of $201,205.67.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Could we have a roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas?
Aye.
And Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you.
Item number 3, discussion and possible action on agreement between Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell, and the Ruidoso Fire Department to provide a facility for students to complete the clinical phase of emergency medical service training.
Mayor Pro Tem Council, this agreement has been something I know Chief Thetford, the previous fire chief, had been trying to get pushed through, and there were some issues with Eastern New Mexico University and the people running the system down there. Getting the Ruidoso Fire Department on board to provide EMT basics and intermediates a place to do their clinical program. So as an EMT basic student or intermediate student, they have to do so many ride-along hours with an ambulance service or a fire department, have so many patient contacts, and document that on a computerized system. This will allow students in the area and from surrounding areas to utilize the Ruidoso Fire Department and ride along with us to get these patient contacts. Right now, we've had to send our firefighters to Roswell, to Mescalero, sometimes to Alamogordo to get these contacts, these clinicals completed. So this will allow us to be able to do them in-house for our firefighters as well as other departments or other students coming into our station. And there's no liability as per the agreement on the Village of Ruidoso.
Okay. Any questions?
Chief, were we able to get a revised agreement that defined the agency?
I have that in process, but I haven't got it from him yet. I can get that. I'll make sure I get that from Justin and have it.
Yeah, and like I said during the workshop, I'm assuming the Ruidoso Fire Department is the agency.
Yes, sir. And
it refers to the agency number of times through this agreement, but it never really defines it. It's just putting in the agency after Ruidoso Fire Department.
I put that out to Justin Powell and I hadn't heard back from him, so I'll reach out to him again and get that. Hopefully by the next day or two, I'll try to get that to the mayor for his signature.
Perfect, okay.
Great, that would be good.
Anything else?
No, entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the agreement between Eastern New Mexico University Roswell and the Reynosa Fire Department to provide a facility for students to complete the clinical phase of emergency medical services training.
Second.
Motion and a second. It was Ms. Counselor Eby.
The elder council.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
And Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item number 4, discussion and possible action on award of RFP 2023-003P to Stephen W. Carruthers and Associates, environmental consultant, to conduct a Lincoln County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan update in the amount of $68,020, including gross receipt tax, and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement.
Mayor Pro Tem Council, this is a standard update for our hazard mitigation plan for the Lincoln County area. The fire department and the emergency manager office here in Ruidoso initiated this grant process. It's through the BRIC grant, Building Resilience and Infrastructure and Community Grant is paying for this. And this grant will allow us to update our hazard mitigation plan, which is due every 5 years for an update. This one was previously approved in 2018, July of 2018 by FEMA. So by July of 2023, it is due for the update. If this is in the process, the update can be extended a few months till it's finalized and approved by FEMA. So this is going out to all jurisdictions in the county, Lincoln County, Corona, Carrizozo, Hondo, Capitan, the Downs, all of us will be involved in this as stakeholders. I know Councilor Hooker played part in the original one back in 2018, so it's just all entities come in and deal with their hazards that they see in their communities and update anything that we need to update on the plans.
Okay.
And there will be public input. We will have 2 to 3 public meetings as well for the public to come in and ask us questions and see how we're going to handle certain situations.
Okay. Very good. Any questions for Chief Kowalski?
I'll make a motion to approve award on RFP 2023-003P to Stephen W. Carruthers and Associates, environmental consultants to conduct the Lincoln County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan update in the amount of $68,020, including gross receipts tax, and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? No. Roll call, please.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas?
Aye.
And Counselor Coughlin?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. Item number 5, discussion and possible action on First Amendment to agreement with Year Out Energy Service Company, LLC, for reduction in contract price in the amount of $19,084, including gross receipt tax. Reduction of project square footage by 77,981 square feet and requesting an additional 210 calendar days to the number of days permitted for delivering the draft investment grade energy audit, IGA, report, totaling 450 days.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, first I'd like to apologize for not making the special meeting as I was out sick, and I'd like to thank Christella from Capital Projects for stepping in my place. I do also have Tara with Year Out Energy here in the meeting as well, as Councilman Coughlin requested to answer questions also. I would like to start with addressing the issues that happened at the Boys and Girls Club as far as Year Out Energy's representatives coming in town. After that situation did happen the first time, and I did get the phone call about that, I did task Year Out Energy with letting me know when any of their personnel were to visit any of our facilities here in the village of Ruidoso, They actually send me a report or a itinerary, if you will, beforehand, weeks beforehand, at least 2 weeks. I am able then to look over that schedule that they send me and then notify all parties involved of their potential presence on site. Also, as far as the days are concerned, the verbiage in the original contract that was signed February of 2021 allotted Year Out Energy 240 days, total days, to complete the contract, 240 days after date of execution of that contract. So the 210 days is an extension of that time, which will total 450 days of completion. And I just wanted to clarify that they do not want 450 extra days.
So they don't want.
No, sir. So the 210, if you add the 210 that they are requesting now on top of the 240 that council did approve for them previously, that will be
That's
total 450. And the reason why we are doing that is I want to do my due diligence and make sure that I give Year Out Energy the opportunity to complete their project. The project was given to me by Eric Boyda upon my employment with the Village of Ruidoso, as far as a few other projects. I then had to do my due diligence and my processes to make sure that I fully understood that Year Out Energy project and what it was doing and whether or not it was good for the village. And then once I did surmise my, or finish with that process, I then had a meeting with all of the directors from all of the departments in the village regarding the 30% design that I was given from Year Out Energy. That took some time. After that directors meeting, after I had that directors meeting, I then went to management and let management know we're done with the 30% design meeting. And management gave us the green light to move forward. Once the green light was given to move forward, that's when I did put this amendment that was given, which is actually the second amendment. They did give me an amendment when the 30% design was given, when I had them reduce the scope in work and the price in work. We had the paperwork here in our office for so long that once management gave us the green light at Capital Projects to move forward with the project, I needed to have Tara from Year Out Energy draft me another amendment so that it was current for the time frame, if you will, and that is the one that you all see before you now. So with that background information, I will answer any questions that you all have regarding the reduction in scope, the reduction in price, but the extension in time for the total amount of time that Year Out Energy has to provide us with this investment grade audit.
Okay.
So what was the justification given for asking for the additional time, the 210 days?
So when I inherited the project, it was already off schedule due to fires and other things internally here at the village. And then when I inherited the project, again, I had to do my due diligence to make sure I knew what was going on with the project and not just move it forward without. That did take some time. And then once I was confident that I knew what was going on fully with the project, I then wanted to do my due diligence and bring all the directors in from all of the departments as the 30% design and report identified those departments as well. So then once I had a meeting with the departments or the directors, if you will, then I went to management and management said, nope, that's fine. You guys can go ahead and move forward. I had their paperwork in our office for so long that I thought it was only right to give them their ample time to finish their work.
So in other words, you're saying that the extension is not on Year Out's, because of them, it's because of us?
It's a combination of, and Tara, Ms. Tapton, are you on the line, Tara?
Yes, I am. Hello, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. Leonard, thank you so much for having me, and I'm happy to, try to elaborate. As Leonard said, we were originally working with Eric Boyda, and when we started the initial data collection phase, which is really extensive, but then the fires hit the village, and that team and all of the resources in the village, I think, were consumed with trying to mitigate the fire, cleanup, et cetera. So that delayed the project by a couple of months at that point, as Leonard mentioned. So we were already a little bit off track. And then with the transition on the villages team, and then a couple of transitions on our own team, we just ended up needing a little bit more time. So I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas, Councilor Coughlin, there was also on the review on the management side, there was just discussion on either moving forward or not. So at that time, the direction was not given, so that also took some time, and we did, like Leonard mentioned, we did say, let's go ahead and move forward with it. So we wanted to continue on with this project. We'd already invested in it, so we wanted to move forward with it.
I again just think that it's important that I give them their time to do their work, as I've had their paperwork on my desk for so long. They were very good about working with me as I started in the position, and I really wanted everyone, I crossed all, my T's, dotted all my I's, and they did reduce the contract price by $20,000, and they did reduce the scope for areas that did not need the work as the village is moving forward with new construction. So they have been very helpful and worked with us. Councilman Coughlin, there has been a few hiccups there along the way, but I do think it's important, and that's why I did put on the special counsel to give them their time, as I've been given the green light to move forward to finish.
So, Mayor Pro Tem, if I may.
Yes,
So
sir.
then the misunderstanding, I guess, and maybe it was just me, but I thought last time we were briefed that it was a reduction in square footage, but an increase in the price. But that's not the case.
No, sir.
Okay.
It is a reduction in price and a reduction in scope, but
It's just the time.
just the time is all they need.
That's all we're
just to
asking.
finish. Because they did do good about the reduction in scope and price, but then again, because of red tape and things in our office, and obviously for Jorsmo or, events we can't control, they're very behind, and I think giving them some time to complete their job, or their project, if you will, is the right thing to do.
So as I do the math, 240 days from February when this was first approved would put it into October.
Yes, sir.
So the 210-day extension goes back to that October, whenever the 240 days were up?
Tara, would you like to speak on that for Councilman Coughlin, please?
Sure. So yes. So the additional days start from that original deadline, meaning we're committing to deliver the investment grade audit report to the village by May 17th.
Okay, so really we're looking at about a 120-day extension from now.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, got it.
Because we makes sense.
Because we missed the 240 days would have been up in October.
Right.
And now here we are in January, so.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to apologize to council, as before Bertha left, I was holding on to her ankle and begging and pleading for her to teach me how to put my agenda on the council. So if the verbiage was wrong, that is on my part, if I wrote the amount of days wrong. So I apologize if I did.
No, I just wanted to understand it, because it was like, I'm looking at it, when I first read it, it's like, we're almost doubling the length of time
Right.
to get this contract done. But then as you were speaking, I went down and looked, and we signed it in February.
Yes,
So the 240 days should have started then.
Yes, sir.
And now the 210 days adds on to when that one hit the 240 days. So we've got about 120 days is what we're really looking at. Okay.
Do you need a motion?
Yes, I'll entertain the motion.
I move that we accept the First Amendment to agreement with Year Out Energy Services Company, LLC, for reduction in contract price in the amount of $19,084, including gross receipt tax. Reduction of project square footage by 77,981 square feet, and requesting an additional 210 calendar days to the number of days permitted for delivering the draft investment grade energy audit report totaling 450 days.
Second.
Wow.
Nice.
Never get a chance to make a
know.
motion real quick, because I forget I can make a motion
Didn't
too.
want to short Counselor Evie down there. I mean, we tend to go in pairs here,
Roll call, please.
Counselor Letterman,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas,
Aye.
Counselor Eby,
Aye.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
And Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
It passed. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Leonard.
Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council, thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6, discussion and possible action on change order number 3 with White Sands Construction, Inc., requesting a total of 21 calendar days to include a substantial completion date of January 31st, 2023, an increase of contract price in the amount of $9,088, including gross receipt tax for the ADA compliant shower pan in the shower room. Mr. Sanchez.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council. So Wilson and Company designed this building. White Sands built it to spec. The plans actually went to CID. When CID reviews the plans, they just kind of said, yep, plans are done. One of the things that was missed is, the shower was built, the drain is in, but when CID came in and did the final plumbing inspection, it did not pass inspection because they said that the drain was in the wrong spot and it did not have a pan, it was not ADA compliant. So bringing this to you, we went back to White Sands, and White Sands did eliminate their administration fees and their project management fees off of this price to try to help the village out. We have spoken to the contractor, or the engineer as well, and Zach has actually drafted a letter to the engineer on part of the village.
Oh, yeah.
Good, very good. Any questions for Adam?
So I know I asked this question at the workshop, but just so it's on the record here, the process, as I understand it, is who designed it?
Wilson and Company.
Wilson and Company designed it. Okay, so they're listed as an architect on one, but then we have, oh, no, it is, they are the architect. So they designed it and they stamped that architecturally it's good.
Yes, sir.
Then it goes to CID. CID goes, well, it's been stamped by an architect, it's good to go. And then White Sands went ahead and built it.
Yes, sir.
So the issue is with Wilson and Company, that, and my understanding is they're saying, yeah, we screwed up, but we're sorry. Let's just move ahead and you guys pay for it.
Basically, yes, they said that, the mistakes are made, we're sorry. So,
Well, and I will say, yes, mistakes are made. And it's how you handle mistakes when they're made. When a mistake is made, you admit to it and you make it right. That's also why companies have error and omissions insurance. And I, for one, am so tired of getting these change orders where we've had other engineers that made mistakes for whatever reason, and then say, well, we're sorry, but you guys go ahead and have to eat the cost for our mistakes. So this is crazy to me, and I will be willing to make a motion, but part of the motion is going to be that either Wilson and Company, I don't know what your, Zach, your letter is going to them, but either they make us whole or we pursue making a claim against their error and omissions insurance.
Mayor Pro Tem
Yes, sir.
and Councilor Coughlin, the contract binds us to mediation.
Okay?
So, and it explains how we initiate a claim under the mediation, under the American Association of Arbitrators or whatever. There's a subsection of that organization for architects, contractors, certain trades. But I looked at the website to figure out how to do it, and essentially I just need to go online and initiate a claim based on that contract. So with your, if that's what you guys want me to do, and it sounds like it is, I think that's the best way to comply with the dispute section of that contract.
But we would go ahead and pay for it.
We're going to have to
Yeah.
pay for it up
Yeah.
front.
Pay for it up
In the
front.
meantime, and because we can't hold up the project for that. You guys do need a shower for some of the stuff you guys do. You know, there's a new show on TV. I don't know if you saw it, Sewer Divers. Oh, God. I was watching that and just thinking about your guys. They put on the whole hazmat suit. Yes.
Oh, my
Yes,
God.
they go in and they come out and their yellow suits are now brown. And it's like really gross. So,
Really, there's got to be something better.
yeah. So it's bad. But you guys do need that shower. Absolutely. And I don't want to hold up that building anymore, to get it completed so you guys can get moved in, get it going.
So Adam, on that, do you have to have an architect draw that up?
It's already been drawn up. It's already been drawn up and given to White Sands as an RFI.
So who did that?
The Wilson and Company did.
Talking about double dipping.
We're gonna pay them.
Is this the gift that keeps on giving?
Yeah, keeps on giving. And I have not, I've been watching the PAPs for coming from Wilson, and there has not been anything for them, redoing this, so.
Yeah, no.
We'll keep an eye on that also.
So I deal with kids all day long, as you guys know, and I mean, this sounds kind of like, yeah, but next time I'll get it right. So,
And Mayor Pro Tem Salas, Councilor Coughlin, I have, we had the last conversation, Adam and I, with their lead architect and their project manager, I guess is what his title is. And I also did tell them that, if this wasn't resolved also, not only were we going to file, but we would not be using their services anymore and wasn't good business. And to me, this project with working with them, we had the first engineer, the architect we had, he did a good job. He was very good, and he passed away. And then they had some other architects involved in this project, and I feel that it hasn't been flowing smoothly. And I just think we just need to cut ties. We'll end up cutting ties with them.
did we get charged for the rewrite of the plans? Does anybody know? Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas, Councilor Coughlin, haven't seen anything. We still have on the original contract, we still have, I can't remember the total amount that's on there. I'll find that out for you, but we're holding that back is what we're going to do on that
Yeah,
part.
because I don't think we should have to pay them to go ahead and fix their mistakes.
Mayor Pro Tem, Councilor Coughlin, that's one of the things I was saying, is I've been watching the pay apps to make sure that we weren't charged for this extra.
And Ron, that was considering the situation in the shower, but the not flowing properly, that was a good analogy.
Well, I was trying to, yes.
So I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve change order number 3 with White Sands Construction, Inc., requesting a total of 21 calendar days to include a substantial completion date of January 31st, 2023, an increase of contract price in the amount of $9,088, including gross receipts tax, for an ADA compliant shower pan in the shower room.
Second.
And you're already dealing with stuff from that side, so thank you.
We have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
Counselor Hooker.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas.
Aye.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
And Counselor Eby.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks,
Adam.
Item number 7, discussion and possible action on Resolution 2022-55, a resolution establishing rules and regulations of the Meacham Meadows Housing Development and 99 Sunny Slope Drive as amended. And I believe you have a handout for that, everyone.
The handout you have is the original
Is the
resolution that
original
was passed with the original rules and regulations. And then the one that you have in novice agenda is with the proposed changes.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas and members of the council, we had to bring our subject expert back.
Yes.
She was so wonderful to agree to come back again. We appreciate that, Kylie. So she's a huge help with all our rentals and in working with her, so I appreciate that.
And I'll say you've been doing a wonderful job. Great job. Thank you. Okay.
So in the resolution, it refers to Exhibit A and Exhibit C and Exhibit B and Exhibit D, but I don't see those included. I only see the resolution. So are we proposing the changes, or are we going to discuss how we're going to change them?
So what we discussed at the workshop was changing to payments accepted and eliminating cash due to security reasons. And then it was left up to discussion for how the deposit situation with pets was being handled.
Okay.
We were either going to have to eliminate a pet deposit and make it a non-refundable fee, or create some sort of monthly pet fee.
And that's what I recalled, and I think we were all on board
Right.
with that $25 for
Right.
a
I just,
month.
yeah, I just wanted to make sure because there, like I said, there wasn't the, those aren't provided here, so to make sure that that's what we're going with.
Now, do we agree on the pets were dogs and cats, or no cats?
Yeah, dogs and
Dogs
cats.
and cats? Well, since we just went through the
I was
ordinance,
just
and
gonna mention that.
There got snakes, we can have.
we probably have to mention, say,
Well, and we also mentioned in there, the, requirement to provide proof of licensing, so that's gonna have to be amended as well,
Yeah,
since you just
yeah.
approved that change.
So in the resolution, it refers to the hardship policy and process requirements. What did we,
That was down here on D.
are we changing that?
Mayor Pro Tem Salas, Councilor Coughlin, I think the only thing we were going to discuss today was going to be the pet fee, and then we were talking about the changing the payment. We were going to slash cash, he wasn't going to accept cash, just check, money order.
Right.
Cashier's check, and then just the, on the, how we were going to either prorate the pet fee or how we were going to do that. So that was the only item that needed to be addressed.
Oh, okay, because it refers to the hardship policy and process requirements in the resolution, so I didn't know. Okay. So, no cash and $25 per month? Just a flat, up to 2 animals, not per animal?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
for 1 year, right?
I'm sorry?
Is it
For
for
1
just
year.
1 year?
No,
It's for,
Continuous,
yeah,
forever,
yeah,
perpetuity?
yeah.
As long as you're in there.
As long as the animal's alive.
So Kylie, I guess on that, $25, you'd have a separate fee for that. It would just be your, whatever your rent is, and then the $25 an additional fee monthly if you had pets. Okay.
And that could be added or subtracted per the situation, if they add a pet or they get rid of their pets.
Yep.
Or they pass away. Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll go ahead and move to adopt Resolution 2022-55, a resolution establishing rules and regulations of the Meacham Meadows Housing Development and 99 Sunny Slope Drive as amended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? None. We'll have a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Coughlin,
Aye.
Counselor Hooker,
Aye.
Counselor Jackson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas,
Aye.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
And Counselor Eby.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Kylie.
yeah, thanks, Kylie.
Moving on to item number 8.
Mr. Sanchez.
Just, is that, oh. Discussion on memorandum of understanding between the Village of Ruidoso and Fawn Ridge Property Owners Association for emergency water supply. Thank you, Adam.
Mayor Pro Tem, Council, it's almost been a year ago, the mayor signed an executive order to sell bulk water to Fawn Ridge because their wells are going dry. This is basically bringing it to the council just for amendment to make sure that it's out in the open.
Okay. And the price for the bulk water is what's our rate in the ordinance at $7.59 per 1,000 gallons.
Yes.
And this is treated water,
Treated water, yes.
treated water. So,
We will install a 6-inch tap on the 6-inch line that's there and reduce down to a 2-inch and set a meter just for future, if they decide to annex or anything else, we have that available to us.
okay. And how many homes are we talking?
78.
How many?
78.
78. Yeah, they've been in dire straits.
But to do that, you have to get signatures from all the residents, right?
For them to annex.
For the
it.
further.
For the annex.
For the annexation, yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, we're just selling them basically.
I'm sorry, Ron.
Just add information that I don't think y'all have.
You could discuss with that after the meeting and stuff. We don't take public input during regular item discussion.
I didn't see there was time because of Rotary.
Okay, but thank you for being here, though.
Just real quick,
I'm sorry, Ron, I have to stop you.
can't.
I'm sorry, I can't allow that. So is there any other discussion on,
No, but Adam, I believe that this is just right now for emergency to help them out as needed. And then we have had some talks and we're open to continuing talks about providing a permanent solution if necessary.
Mayor Pro Tem, Councilor Coughlin, yes, this is just to get them over the hump right now. I mean, to provide them water
Right.
for right now.
to get them there?
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Village of Ruidoso and Fawn Ridge Property Owners Association for emergency water supply.
Second.
One more thing.
Yes.
Are we supplying them with water right now?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
And this is just the 258,000 gallons a month is estimated. So if they don't need it, they're not
Right.
going to get billed for
Right.
it. It's only whatever they decide to
Once
use.
they get the meter in, and we'll be able to track it.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and Council, I'm having a little sidebar with Ron. The way this is drafted, it's just XX per 1,000 gallons. The going rate, I understand from Ron just now, is $7.59 per 1,000.
Yes.
But he wanted me to change that to be, so that if it goes up, we're not stuck on this contract at $7.59.
Oh, yeah.
So if you guys want to amend your motion to include language that I'm still trying to come up with to say that $7.59 upon execution of this agreement, and however it goes up, that they're also bound by that going rate.
Well, and even in the resolution, it doesn't say that. It just says the memorandum of understanding. So then I would amend my motion to say that the memorandum would be changed to show the change in water prices as applicable.
What's current bulk water rates, right? Yeah.
Correct.
That'll work.
I would second that amendment.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Any other further discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Hooker.
Aye.
Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas.
Aye.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
Counselor Eby.
aye.
Thanks.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much, Adam. And now, that was it for our regular items. I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, move that we move into closed session for discussion of limited personnel matters, citing 1015-1H2 NMSA 1978. Further discussion subject to the attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which the Village of Ruidoso is or may become a participant, citing 1015-1H7 NMSA 1978. And finally, and further discussion of the purchase, acquisition, and/or disposal of real property and/or water rights by the Village of Ruidoso, citing 1015-1H8, NMSA 1978. And finally, discussion on purchases in the amount exceeding $2,500 that can be made only from one source, citing 1015-1H6, NMSA 1978. Any action taken as a result of the closed session will be brought back into open session, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Jackson.
Aye.
Counselor Hooker.
Aye.
Counselor Coughlin.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Salas.
Aye.
Counselor Letterman.
Aye.
Counselor Eby.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, and we'll be back out once we're done with closed session.